Can you believe it's been a week already? And what a week it's been. McLaren could have won 2 in a row, they fluffed it. Lewis won his 100th race, but that's old news. But you're not here for that. You're here for this week in Formula 1. First up, Audi and Porsche to join the grid. What do the German giants have in common? Well, both are part of the VW family and may be joining the F1 grid sooner than many had anticipated. According to Automotor und Sport, how German is that? The Germans may be coming in 2026 after many reported talks were recently held between stakeholders. The reported dropping of the MGUH from the engines is seen as the spark that will light the Audi Porsche flame in Formula 1. Now, I'm not the only one who's wondering what the hell is an MGUH. Well, apparently it stands for the Motor Generator Unit Heat, which captures thermal energy generated from the engine's exhaust. Hot exhaust from the engine's combustion chamber normally lost via the exhaust pipe. The thermal energy recovery system reuses this thermal energy to generate electricity. Now, Formula 1 is thought to want to make the engines cheaper and simpler, and the killing off of this MGUH tech is seen as a step in that direction. And no, that does not mean that they will now be able to service Lewis Hamilton's W12 Mercedes at your local backyard mechanic's house. So sorry mate, you still won't be meeting your hero at the neighborhood pub while he's waiting for Koos mechanic to finish up with his car. Sorry for crushing your dream. Mazepin joining the Russian army. No, not because he needs more firepower to finally get the best of teammate Mick. Apparently the Russian government is adamant that Dad's Rubles must complete his mandatory military service for the motherland. That's the amount of M's I can put in one sentence. Does that mean that the rich Russian kid will miss some races? Well, not likely. Vladimir Putin has been known to take a liking to those that toe his party's line and pay their taxes. And Mazepin was recently quoted as saying, "I am not in the army. I'm at the military department where I have to finish this year." I think that's at university. "So I look forward to the summer because we will be having training camps somewhere in Balashika. I will need to live in the barracks for a month." A whole month, where I'm sure he'll be treated just like every other single normal billionaire friend of the president's kid. Not content at keeping the fight on track only, Christian Horner has taken a pot shot at Toto Wolff. "I want to be very much on the front line. I sit on the pit wall with the strategists and the engineers. Toto will sit in the garage next to the press guy. So they're different functions, they're different roles, they're different outlooks. But of course competition is fierce, and I think that's the key thing about this championship," said Horner about him and Toto. And not wanting to leave it to chance that he may have not been seen to take a pot shot at the Totonator, Horner also added, "We're loving the competition, and the more Toto gets wound up, the more fun it becomes." I'm sure Toto is laughing his Austrian head off. Verstappen swipes at Russel. Red Bull really have flicked the "let's look for some trouble" setting this week, haven't they? Jos's kid has started next season's Red Bull Mercedes battle early on with our friend the little Jack Russell, who's really quick, by saying he scored points and had good qualifyings. And for sure in Spa, the car is not a Red Bull or a Mercedes. But they also ran more wing and more downforce, so naturally everything just starts to become a bit closer. Nevertheless, he still did an amazing job, but I think people have to understand that the car isn't as bad as people think. I wonder what Latifi would say about that. Well, not just wanting to be seen as somebody who's just called one of the best youngsters in racing, not as good as everybody thinks, the King of Orange decided to be nice, and he also added that he thought that our friend George the Jack Russell was a very, very good driver. So he just took a little swipe at Russell, not a big one. Schumi Ferrari Combo 2.0 coming? A lot of us older than your average Verstappen fan who actually remember his dad in F1 will also recall the Michael Schumacher Ferrari Combo, which destroyed all opposition. And now Mike's son Mick says he would love to revive that combo. Mick is of course a Ferrari Academy driver. His daddy is his hero, understandably, and he is at Haas because of his little horsey connections to get some experience. Now Haas, of course, using Ferrari engines. Speaking of his dad's legacy at Ferrari, not that legacy, wrong sport, Mick said, "I think it's nice to be able to call or just say I'm a part of that family. To be a part of that whole company is great." Then obviously with all the history where people combine with Ferrari and Schumacher, I think it's a very special combination. I think hopefully something that can be revived in future. I'd like to see that happen. It's not going to happen in 2022 though, because the promising youngster from the land of guys who used to try and conquer Europe has signed for Haas for another season. Good luck to the young man. Hope they've got a better car next year. Thought for the week. I leave you with one that you've probably heard before, but I think it's necessary. Do you know that God really truly does care for you? He says so in His Word. In John 3 verse 16 says, "For God so loved the world, including you, that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in Him should not perish, but have everlasting life." Wow. Now, if the Maker of the universe cares so much about you, why on earth would you not think yourself to be worth anything? But alas, now I've given you some deep things to think about, now I'm going to give you something to laugh with. Enjoy these memes. I thought they were funny. Hope you do too. Hope you've enjoyed this week's video. Please come back next week. Hit that sub button, share it to your friends. Forgive my poor English and come back again. Thank you. God bless and have a great week.